It's like the NCAA basketball tournament for the Lutheran schools.
It was always quite a goal for us. I mean, you know, like Seymour and Columbus had 400 kids in school, and we would have 100 probably at that time.
There was no option of being tired or anything like that, and sitting on the bench was 30-second stint and then you're back in. And it was for one of two things. One, we didn't have enough guys, and two, we had to be in there. We didn't have much further options.
I've always, when I first started, I said, man, if I could just win this tournament. As years went on, I said, man, that is so unrealistic for me to think this way.
There were so many years we'd go to that tournament and play 2 games and get destroyed by 30.
We practiced in what I would consider kind of a barn almost.
Concrete floor with sand and dust and everything on it.
You had to kind of watch the baseboards, the wall, because there were just, sometimes there'd be nails or there'd be little pieces of wood that were kind of sticking out.
But when I got this team, I tried to do everything I could because I knew that was the only shot I was going to have, so I couldn't miss.
The entire season, we never really had a plan B. Winning was the only option.
Mark and Zach were the leaders of the team, and they were definitely had the most talent as well. And then Brandon Scheinman, he was close to 6 feet tall as a 8th grader, so he offered a lot of size. He was definitely our center.
I know Brandon Scheinman and I had a pretty intense bond because I was the point guard and Brandon was our big guy, and all I knew is if I could get it to Brandon could get it back to me wherever I was at.
Of course, there's Ryan Teamy. We had a lot of practices in my barn and his barn, and same with Zach Shear. We all grew up within 4 miles from each other.
If we had a bad game, we knew it. And instead of pouting about it or say, well, whatever, it's no big deal, there were a lot of times where I remember playing basketball at Mark's house till 1 or 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Mike was the coach you didn't want to let down.
I don't know if I knew any more about the game of basketball than anybody else, but I did know how to motivate.
So, like, you know, we'd get our tongue lashings and at halftime, and then that would, like, rev us up to go out. Some of us would be crying, but we'd get over it, and we'd usually end up playing much better.
We played a team we didn't play very well. In fact, we played horrible in the first half. So I says, you know what? You didn't listen to nothing I told you the first half, so I'm not saying another word right now. And I says, I'm done. I'm going to walk out of here. You guys can fix what you screwed up the first half and play harder, or take the uniforms off because you're not going to embarrass them another half. And I'm going out. And I did. And I never was quite sure whether they'd come out with their street clothes or their uniforms. But it worked. They came out and they played hard and they won the game. Just simply because of mental and physical effort.
You know, I didn't know it then, but I never doubted Mike. I never doubted anything he did. You know, we weren't the team that Mike would have us do a drill and we would sit there thinking, well, there's no point in that. There's no value in that. We did it.
There was a lot of high hopes going into the LIT tournament, from the coaches to the parents and to the players. We all kind of had that expectation that if it was going to happen any year, that this was going to be the year.
I don't know. I just remember having a very anxious feeling because it was kind of the weekend we'd been waiting for all year, and the whole weekend everybody was saying how Seymour was the favorite and expected to win.
The first game we played was Columbus.
I don't know. It was a bizarre game. The gym was really hot, and we could not hit any shots. Nothing was falling for us.
And we didn't play very well, and just kind of like we were playing in mud. And they tied it up with 5 seconds to go and got the ball into Mark, and Mark dribbled full court, went underneath the basket, missed the layup, and was on the other side and got his own rebound and put it in at the buzzer. So we won that by 2.
But the team that was always unique was St. John Sours. That's the team we played the second night.
You know, they eat, sleep, and live basketball. So we was up 3 points then. We caught them and went ahead. And in the last minute and maybe 20 seconds, Mark hit 8 straight free throws. We won that game.
We had some tough games, the first game, the second game. We never panicked. It wasn't like, okay, we quit, we're out. We'd look at each other and, all right, here we go.
The gym at Seymour was pretty unique. Had a very Hoosier-like feel. It was always jam-packed.
So I said, before the last game, I said, we came too far to turn back here. So I said, they always had this program that all the past winners were in that book. So I told them, if you want anybody to know you've been here, you got to win the game, because the second places will not get in here.
Ryan was he was double teamed. He ended up wrestling it away, but his momentum made him fall backwards, and then he hit the back of his head on the floor, and just his reaction after that, because everybody was telling him, "Hey, you all right? We need you to play." It was no concern. Ryan, we're going to need you to get over this so you can start playing again, because we need you.
And we come out and played well. That game was never in doubt.
It was really fun going in and being like the small school that whooped up on some of these bigger schools throughout the year. The fact that we won that, I mean, it taught a lot of us to dream big and work hard, and good things will happen.
Yeah, it'll be forever there. And I hope that the school never forgets it too. Not because it was the great and glorious thing, but what all was behind that. Because we had a fan base. Like, if you see the movie Hoosiers, where they have the school bus and all the cars behind it, they might as well have just taken a picture of our team and our fan base. It was like every gym we went to, we were the home team, because based on the number of people there.
But that was a neat part of my life. And it was probably by far the best. As far as coaching, it was the biggest accomplishment I ever did.